students to crack the code, is wonderful. There is more to reading than seeing a word on a page. We need to make the meaning out of the words that we see on the page. So like a spy, like a detective, we have to find what the code of that word is. So we have to decode it so that we can understand, right? Oh, my screen is stuck. All right. So giving access to a world of words is one of the best ways for us to all increase our vocabulary and enhance our spelling, right? Because we're going to learn how to spell, we're going to learn certain words, and we're going to develop skills. New knowledge that is gained through fun and enjoyment is far better. We learn far quicker. It's far easier. It doesn't feel like work if we're having fun. So both the written and the spoken word communicate abilities. We can improve them regularly by reading. So if we read a lot, then basically we have developed a wonderful, wonderful skill. Reading can open our imagination and our creativity. You know, when we watch movies or television, all the information is given to us on the screen. There's nothing that we need to imagine. But a book in its pure form is just words on a page, and our mind has to imagine the words coming to life. This does wonders to develop our creativity and our imagination and our ability to move forward in life. Well, every lesson, it starts with 10 words. We are going to discover what their definition is, how they work in a sentence, and what that means. We are going to then apply those words that we learned to an actual reading experience in a nonfiction passage. Students will actively engage with the words often and in many different contexts, building long-term retention. Comprehension questions and homework at the end will help me, the teacher, to access the student's comprehension. So the homework that I give you will help me to see whether or not you have understood what I'm teaching you, right? So words, reading and writing. We use a variety of techniques to promote the development of language and literacy in this course. The word list. Words have energy and they have power. Knowledge is power. We will discover the new words and use different exercises to learn how to use the words. We will learn to group the words the same meaning. Let me give you an example. Here is the word calf, all right? Calf has two different meanings. One of them is, this is a cow. A calf is a baby cow. So one of the words is for calf, the explanation is baby cow. The other word for calf is the muscle that is between the ankle of your foot and your knee. So they're the same word, but different meanings. Now, if I were to ask you, what kind of sound does a calf make? Does anybody know? Well, when you think about it, if a cow goes moo, then a calf who's a baby would go moo. Do you agree? I think so. So basically, we will learn many different ways in which to use the word calf. Let's go down here and look at a group of words, which is something that protects. This is a group of words. Let's look at the letters next to the group of words, huh? And do any of these words mean something that protects? Well, a calf doesn't protect, does it? But a shelter does. In the story and the book that we would read, we will use all of these words that are here so that when we come to this exercise, we will understand how to answer all of these questions. If you look at the bottom here, if we look at the word next to the number, which is number 7, and then we look at the group of words here, which one best explains the word calf? Calf meaning a baby cow. Well, we know a baby cow is not a baby sheep. We know that a calf is not a baby horse. We also know that the arm between the hand and the elbow is not a calf. So what is a calf? It is the back of the leg between the knee and the ankle. So here we are learning so many wonderful different ways in which we can use the word calf. Okay? Reading is so much fun. We will study the words from our word list. Remember, we're going to have 10 words every single solitary week. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Aiden. So we're going to learn words and read. So we're going to learn how to read and set you up for big success, because learning words is very important. It's a workout of the mind, right? So you got your mind working. Concentration is a skill. Are you all concentrating on this class? It's a very hard thing, isn't it? Reading helps develop language and skills. So reading often leaves a student with a thirst for more knowledge. Have any of you ever read a book that you really, really like and then you want to read another one as soon as it's finished? Yes, Eric, I can see that. What is the book that you like to read, Eric? Can you tell us?
Like the Rick Riordan books, like Percy Jackson and the Kane Chronicles and Trials of Apollo.
Eric, that's
and
wonderful. That's very impressive. Wow, that's very good. So here we are going to do reading. The reading might be a little bit different. Ethan, your hand is raised. Do you have a question?
Can I share my favorite book?
Please, what is your favorite book, Ethan?
Well, someone already mentioned it. It's Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson, from like all of them.
Whoa, I am so impressed. We're going
Even
to
the
have
ones that are not about him, as long as they're like written by Rick Riordan, like they're my favorites.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, I'm going to have to introduce you to other favorite books that you could really, really like. Thank you for sharing that with me, Ethan. Lucas, do you have a question?
My favorite, I have a lot of books. I am a Chinese person, so I can read Chinese. I have a Chinese comic book. That is my favorite. And I also have another A to Z Mysteries. Well, that's just distant, but I still like it.
Oh, that's yes. And another one, Lucas?
Oh, my mom bought me Percy Jackson, but I don't really like it.
No, you don't like Percy Jackson. Well, we're going to have to find a book that you really, really like. Very much so. Anybody else have any questions? Lucas again, or are you good? All right, let's go on to the next slide. Oh, Ethan has his hand raised. Ethan, do you have a question? All right, so reading. You are all very, very good at reading. Reading is so important. It's a workout for the mind, right? We need concentration. We're also going to discuss writing. Okay, writing is so much fun. We will write new sentences using the words we have learned in response to the text that we've just read. This will help you to understand the story and how the words are used in stories. This will help you analyze the story and to answer questions on the content of what you've just read. And this will help you to use new words to create and write a full sentence. I think you already all probably know how to write a full sentence. So I think that this class already, I think you're all way too smart. Using words in different contexts. This is where we have lots of fun, because we'll also look at interesting facts to build your knowledge, right? Word origins and comprehension through interactive games. Yes, do you have a question, Lucas?
Oh, I saw the first fun fact. It is called a homophone, right?
That is very smart. Yes, it is called a homophone. Can you give us an example, Lucas?
8 and 8. I am 8 years old and I ate a pizza.
That is so good. That is so good. Does anybody else want to give me an example of a homophone? Yeah? Yes, please, Eric, go ahead.
Well, you already said one. It's calf.
That's right. So what is the homophone for calf?
Calf like the baby calf, and calf like the calf between your like on your leg.
Excellent. Between your ankle and your knee. That is so, so good. Now, does anybody know what the plural of calf is? Yes, Ethan. Ethan, do you know the
Calf.
answer?
Calves.
Calves. Yes, how do you spell it? How do you spell it?
CALVES.
Oh, you're all so smart. That's fabulous. Fabulous. We're going to build the knowledge of word origins and comprehension through interactive word games. Like a cross puzzle, in this game, you will find the right word to fit in the right box of letters. So there are a whole bunch of words over here. We have to find out which one fits in which box. So let's use the word that we know. The baby something followed its mother to the barn. The only word that we've been playing with is the word calf. So the baby calf followed its mother to the barn, and we spell it here, C-A-L-F. So this, in essence, becomes a crossword puzzle. So we'll have lots of crossword puzzles where we're going to be able to play with games and all kinds of words. Vocabulary extension. This exercise is to show how we think, how we communicate, and how we write. The word is looked at grammatically. We can see whether or not the word is a verb or the word is a noun. We will share our thoughts out loud, and we can actually draw little pictures on the side over here, and we can write sentences, and we can talk to each other about the different words that we can make sure we understand them. To make sure that the words are understood, we're going to have homework. Is everybody okay with that? No, no. The homework will not be too hard because you're all so smart anyway. I'll put the homework up on the Google Classroom, okay? Now, before we move on to the Wonders G2 series, do any of you have any questions on Wordly Wise? Yes, please go ahead, Lucas.
Where do I find my homework? I mean, I know I just can. In the Google Classroom, I have Mr. Reed and my Spanish teacher and a writing class, but no.
I am not your teacher yet. I am just giving a presentation tonight. If I do become your teacher, and if you do want me to teach you, then we will have a special place in Google Class where we can put our homework. We can make a board where we can put all our ideas. We can put pictures. We can have a discussion board. Plus, we can have a homework board, okay? Does that answer your question, Lucas? Thank you for asking. All right, this is the Wonders course. Now, Lucas, you can help me here because you know all about the Wonders course, don't you? It's going to include...
I know. I have the number. I have the left book, the middle book, and when I am in kindergarten, I had that book, but now my mom doesn't want to buy me that book.
Oh, well, that's excellent. So maybe you can help me with this and tell everybody all about it, because it includes a lot of books. It includes the literature anthology book, the level reading book, the students practice worksheet, the reading and writing workshop book. In this course, we are going to use all the Wonder books. We are going to learn how to read and reread the literature. That's called content knowledge. We are going to learn to capitalize and punctuate sentences. and we will learn new words and text structure. We're going to develop both language and vocabulary. We are going to learn to connect ideas from text or feature stories to better understand what the author is saying. This will help you all to become better writers and researchers and to become lifelong learners and critical thinkers. In each lesson, we will work on weekly concepts and essential questions. We will have collaborative conversations. We'll all talk together. We'll do reading together and writing and grammar and spelling and phonics fluency. And then, of course, we'll have a little bit of homework. Let's start with the reading and writing workshop book. I'm sure, Lucas, that you know this picture, and you might have even studied the very first unit, which is friends and family.
Yes, little flap. And I remember
Yes,
something like the parade theme.
that's right. That's right. We will learn words that relate to the big idea. I'm going to explain the big idea in the next slide. We're going to read a story. We're going to visualize the story so that we can understand the strategy behind it. We're going to discover key details of the plot for comprehension. We're going to learn different ways and different genres of writing. We're going to learn inflection endings for vocabulary. We're going to learn about the text that we read, and we're going to have many conversations. That's a lot of work, isn't it? Yeah? So the different books under the Wanda series, as Lucas knows, all have a different weekly theme, okay? So we have 5 each unit. We have 1 unit, which is worth 5 weeks, and I think there's 6 in total. So for example, the topic is friends and family. So the big idea that we will carry through on everything that we learn for that lesson is how do families and friends learn and grow and help one another. So the first week, we're going to talk about friends who help friends. I'm sure that you all have friends who help friends, right? Do you help your friends? Yeah? Yeah? Effie, I think you're saying, can you help your friends, right? Yeah. Okay. And Sophia, do you help your friends? Okay. We're then going to talk about families around the world. So we're going to go all around the world and we're going to see all the different people and we're going to find out about their families. We're going to talk about pets and friends. We're going to talk animals who need care. Does anybody have an animal? Do you have a cat or a dog? No? Okay, you do. Sophia, what do you have? A cat or a dog? Or a horse? Or a mouse?
Rabbit and fish.
You have a rabbit. That's fabulous. Austin, what do you have? Do you
I have a
pet?
fish.
You have a fish. What's your fish's name?
I'm not sure. I forgot.
You forgot what your fish's name. That's so sweet. Well, what I'm hoping is that you see all these wonderful letters that are coming out of the book. I'm hoping that we will have lots and lots of lovely imagination and creativity so that we can all find that. Once again, okay, who has their hands raised? Jianshu, is your hand raised?
I have a pet. My pet's name is Scratch, and he's
Oh, his name is Scratch? What
he's a
name.
tortoise.
And he's a tortoise. That's fantastic. Mason, do you have a pet?
Yes.
Yes, what is your pet?
Oh, it was the same one, Scratch.
Oh, it's Scratch, of course. Of course. That's wonderful. It's wonderful to have a pet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I used to have a dog and I used to have a cat. Lucas, do you have a pet?
I have a pet. It is a turtle. I forgot its name, but I know I have a turtle.
A turtle, that is fabulous. That is fabulous.
And may I go to the bathroom?
Yes, of course you can, Mason. Do you have your hand raised, Mason? All right, let's move on. In each lesson, we're going to address the big idea, a topic that will carry through on every single solitary lesson that we have. So we're going to have conversations. We're going to do some vocabulary. We're going to read. We're going to write. We're going to do grammar. And we're going to have homework. Okay? Once again, my screen is stuck and I really don't know why. I'm so sorry about this. It's technical difficulties that are never much fun, but we learn to live with them, don't we? Okay, next, conversations, which means talking. We will have in-class discussions on topic of the week using the vocabulary we have learnt and all the words that we learnt. We will ask questions and discover new things about ourselves and each other. We communicate with each other through conversation. We connect to others through conversation. Through language and conversation, we learn to build trust, to bond, to grow, and to build partnerships with each other, to create and transform our societies. There is no more powerful skill hardwired into every human than the wisdom of conversation. Talking is a very important thing. Conversation is a very important thing. It has created many good things, talking, conversation. Mason, we are going to have collaborative conversations. We are going to learn to take turns when speaking or joining a conversation. We're going to respect the speaker by not interrupting. We're going to encourage each other to wait for the person to finish speaking before we want to speak. We're going to raise our hands, and you've all been doing that already when you want to speak. We're going to ask other people to share their ideas and opinions. We're going to encourage ourselves to always look at the speaker, right? So when the speaker is speaking, we're going to look at them. We're going to listen carefully, and we're going to repeat ideas to better check our understanding. I don't know why, but every time I stop, I have to stop my screen and start again. All right, routine, oral vocabulary routine. We will develop our oral language. Oral is to talk. We're going to discuss the essential question of that week. We will ask and answer any questions about what the speaker is saying so that we understand, so it clarifies our comprehension. We're going to gather additional information for deeper understanding of the topic. Now, once again, when something is awkward, it causes problems or is embarrassing. Marco, let's give an example. Marco isn't very good at dancing because his moves are awkward. What makes you feel awkward? Does anybody want to answer that for me? What makes you feel awkward? Effie, what makes you feel awkward? Do you know? Jonas, what makes you feel awkward? I'll give you an example of what makes me feel awkward. If I am going out to a friend's house and I thought it was a very important day and I dressed up and I made myself wear very, very fancy clothes and everybody's wearing jeans, I would feel very awkward. I would feel uncomfortable. Does anybody have any questions on the word awkward? Do we understand what it means? Yes? Awkward, it's a little uncomfortable, right? It's uncomfortable for us. All right, let's go to the next screen. Vocabulary. Vocabulary, words, right? We are going to use pictures and sentences to learn our words. We're going to learn their meaning and how to spell the word, and how to reuse words in sentences. We will use words and phrases acquired through conversation, reading and being read to, and responding to texts, including using verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and pronouns. Let me give you an example here. Afraid. Our dog is afraid of thunder. What are you afraid of? So does anybody want to tell me what they're afraid of? I'm afraid of the dark. I don't like the dark. I'm afraid of the dark. What is anybody else afraid of? Anybody brave enough to tell me what they're afraid of? Chloe, what are you afraid of? Chloe?
I'm afraid of also the dark. Like when it gets like really dark, I kind of get scared.
Yes, I understand. I'm also scared in the dark. I don't like it in the dark. I get very, very scared. So that's a good thing. So we will learn afraid. Another word for afraid is scared, right? I'm afraid or I am scared. All right. Vocabulary strategy. This is always interesting. We can figure out the meaning of an unknown word by looking at the part of the word. Let me give you an example. Look over here. There is the word looked. When he looked down, the ground seemed very far away. Now, if we don't understand the word looked, let's try and figure out what it means. So I know that the root of the word look means, does anybody know? It means to see. So the ending, which is the part ed, is past tense. It means that something has already happened. So we know that when he looked, it means that he saw something in the past. Does that make sense to everybody? So that is good. I'm so glad Jonas is nodding his head. That is how we break down certain words and we find the endings. Text evidence. That's how we're going to find the ending of the inflection endings of the word. Vocabulary structural analysis. These are big words. Structural analysis is the breaking of words down into their basic parts to determine the meaning of the word. Since knowledge of a few word parts can give you clues to the meaning of a large number of words. So we are going to learn prefixes. Does anybody know what a prefix is? A prefix is the word part that is located at the beginning of a word to change the meaning. And I'm going to give you a few examples. While traditional roots come from Greek and Latin, you might also see discussion of modern roots in English. The root, as you all already told me, is a complete word that you can't break down any further. For example, if you start with the word uncomfortable and you remove the prefix un and you remove the suffix able, you would be left with the root word, which is comfort. While this isn't a Greek or Latin root word, this is the furthest that that word comfort can be broken down. Understanding the meanings of common roots can help you work out the meaning of new words as you encounter them. Okay? So as I said, that was very adult. I'm sorry about that. Oh, if I'd known it was for you guys, I would have made it a lot more fun. All right, the next one, structural analysis. Here again, we're going to basically see an example. The example is the word bicyclist, right? What is a bicyclist? Does anybody know? Austin, is your hand up? No? Okay, a bicyclist. Let's break the word down. The first part of bicyclist is bi. That's a prefix. It means two. The word cycle is the root meaning for the word wheel, right? Ist is the suffix of a person. Therefore, if the structural analysis suggests that a bicyclist is a person on two wheels, that is very close to understanding the word bicyclist. So I think that was a very complicated way for me to explain it to you, but that's the way it goes, okay? I don't understand why I have to always restart to share my screen with you. All right, vocabulary using phonic techniques. This is very interesting, guys. Phonics is a method for teaching people how to read and write an alphabet language. It is done by showing the relationship between the sound of the spoken language and the letters or groups of letters in syllables of the written language. Yes, Lucas, you have a question.
Oh, I just tell you, I don't learn phonics anymore. My sisters now learn it.
Oh, are you too old to learn phonics? Yeah? Have you already learned phonics? How old is your sister, Lucas?
Huh?
How old is your sister?
5 years old, almost 6 years old. I'm 8 years old.
Oh, you're big. So this class might be too easy for you, do you think? Let's see what phonic awareness is. It refers to the specific ability to focus on and to manipulate individual sounds in a spoken word. Does somebody know what phonemic blending means? It's wonderful. It basically means to listen to the sound and to blend the sound. Let's take the word sat. So basically, we're going to listen to the sound s for S. S, ah, ch, sat. So that's the way we're going to learn phonic blending. Phonic segmentation breaks the word into sounds like sh, s, d, sand, sand. Okay? Does anybody know what a two-letter blend is? We've already discussed the root word, so that's easy. We don't have to go back to that, but does anybody know what the two-letter blend is? Do you have your hand up, Effie? No? No. Okay. Let's go back to share screen. All right. The two refers to the beginning of one word, the beginning of the word, and the end of another to make a new word with a new meaning. For example, smog from smoke and fog. So smog is when the air is very, you can't see, it's not clean, it's not clear. So it comes from the word smoke and fog, just like brunch. Brunch is the mix of two words, breakfast and lunch. So breakfast and lunch make the word brunch. That is what is called a two-letter blend. All right, phonics and spelling. Well, I think that all of you have perfectly understood what phonics and spelling is because you all seem to have done it before. Here are words that have similar sounds. So basically has, wag, sat, had. These are all words that have a similar sound, right? Six, him, fix. They all have very similar sounds. So that's what we're going to basically learn. We're going to learn about a group of words in similar and dissimilar sounds, like mat and mug and sun. Mug and sun sound alike. Lucas, did you have a question? Lucas, did you have a question? Blend and split syllables. We go f and ut for foot. So those are different ways of learning how to pronounce words, right? Blend sounds into words. Man. man. So the fish is a fun one. It's made up of 3 phonemes, which is fa, I, and sh, which makes up the word fish. Fish. All right, reading. This is something that I all know that you know how to do very, very well. Don't know why it won't do that. Okay. Sorry, guys, I really don't know why my PowerPoint is not playing with me today. All right, reading. There are 5 components to reading. We've discussed phonic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, comprehension. We'll be studying all of these components. Reading. Now, Lucas has already read this book of The Little Flap. We are going to engage in speaking, in listening. We are going to have discussions together. We're going to demonstrate how we understand key details of the story. We're going to demonstrate the understanding of the entire story plot. We're going to paraphrase portions of the story that we read. And we are going to learn to connect ideas in the text to help you understand what the author wants to explain or describe. Does anybody know what text evidence is? As we read, we will learn to ask questions about the story and we'll discover the answer. That's text evidence. We will develop skills. We will understand the story development and the character, the settings, and the events. We will practice fluency. Question. Katrina, did you have a question? All right. Reading comprehensive strategy. We are going to visualize. When you look at pictures, which means to visualize, often pictures will be able to tell you what is going on in the story, right? If you look at a picture, you can see in the picture right here that there are 2 people, 2 little birds that are very high up in the nest. They're very far from the ground. So we can get certain ideas from looking and visualizing. Key details are very important information about character, setting, and events. And key details can be found both in the text illustrations, and the illustrations can provide details that are not found in the text illustration. So we can find lots of key details when we are learning in both illustration and text. We're going to study some research. Students will focus their attention on using relevant details to describe your own experience. You're going to conduct interviews with family and friends or community members. And as I mentioned earlier, we will have a shared research board where students can post questions, ideas, and information that they research. I don't know if any of you have read the book Help yet. It's a really good book.
Red, it's about a mouse who fell in a hole. It is scared of his friend Snake.
That is very good. So you've read the book before. I'm so proud of you. That is wonderful. So even though I have really made this talk to your parents, so I'm using a different language than I would use if I was speaking to you, you all seem to understand very well what I'm talking about. So I'm very, very proud of all of you, because this is really an adult conversation that you're all being part of. So that's very impressive. So in this literature anthology book, we are going to understand a story. We're going to understand the relationship between the characters in the story. We will understand the author's purpose, and we will use important details to write a summary of the story. Have any of you read the Level Readers book? Those are so much fun, and the pictures and the drawings are so pretty. Here again, the essential question that runs throughout all of our teaching material for that period is family and friends, right? So for this week, it's family and friends. The first story will address how do friends depend on each other. We will summarize the story. We will find the text evidence, and we will compare it with other texts that we will read about friends depending on each other. It will then be your turn to create a story. So I'm hoping that you will all be able to work really nicely and create a story. Writing. Does anybody love to write? I love writing. I think it's so much fun.
A class about writing with the outline in.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat what you said, please?
I have a writing class. It tells you how to make an outline.
Oh,
Paragraph. I have to write 3 paragraphs with 5 sentences.
each every day? That's
Each
a
week,
lot of
each of
every week. Every week. That's very good. Well, we're going to do the same thing in this course. We're going to draw from the narrative text discussed. We will write sentences, paragraphs, and we'll write stories. Okay? We're going to discuss the purpose of why did the writer write this book? What is it about? And who was she writing it for? Who was her audience? So I think we're going to have lots of fun writing. Writing is always good. We're going to write to source. After reading a text, a story, a poem, one of our writing exercises will be to write a text, just the way Lucas has been doing it in his writing class. We're going to learn to introduce the topic. We'll use details from the text. We'll be able to learn to do research and make sure that we have reliable sources of the things that we're doing, right? In writing, we're going to learn to support our opinions with facts and evidence. We're going to learn how to write a very strong conclusion. We're going to develop the topic with facts from the text. We're going to use words that help to tell the sequence of events. We're going to include detail to describe the scene. And we're going to write a conclusion that puts all the information that we have together in one document. The writing process. Oh, this is the big one. As students read and write each week the texts, they will take notes, right? You're going to take notes so that you can support your ideas and write short little responses. Over the course, we will work through various stages of writing, allowing us time to continue to write. We will revise the writing, and then we will confer with the teachers and with your peers and everybody. And after reading, students will build writing fluency, analyze model responses, craft longer responses, incorporating the text evidence, and focus on the writing traits that we discussed. I really hope that this is not too boring for you, because once again, I didn't think I was giving a class. I totally misunderstood.
Hey,
Grammar.
that's Chinese.
I'm sorry?
I just saw the last page. That's Chinese.
The last page. Do you want me to go back? Is that Chinese? What does it say?
Well, it says in Chinese, word.
Word. Yeah? We're going to learn. Very well done, Lucas.
Well, it's also how you say it in Chinese is 字. My mom's Chinese.
Oh, say it again and let me see if I can learn.
字.
字. Did I say it
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's excellent. Grammar. Grammar is a system of a given language at any point in time. It's a system. It's a way in which we develop the words and the sentences. We're going to learn how to capitalize and punctuate. We're going to learn commands and exclamations. We're going to combine sentences. We're going to do all kinds of things in grammar. We also have practice sheet worksheets, right? We're going to learn all kinds of things in grammar. We're going to learn apostrophes and tenses and verbs and abbreviation and commands and possessive nouns and all kinds of things we're going to learn in the grammar student practice sheet. And we're going to practice them until we get so good of it, we become experts at what we're doing. We're going to practice. We are going to read texts and we're going to respond to certain items. This is going to mean we're going to understand comprehension skills, literary elements, text features, and vocabulary strategies. These items assesses the ability to access meaning from the text and will demonstrate understanding of unknown and multiple meaning words and phrases. We're going to practice reading as well. It's going to give us the opportunity to monitor the progress that we're making and see whether or not we are doing good and that we understand all the words. This will give us, some insight into how we are doing. Homework. We're going to be graded. It'll all be fun though, so don't worry. We're going to make sure that we understand the questions. We're going to make sure that the organization and the response is meaningful. We're going to make sure that you have the correct grammar, the correct spelling, and that it's all written very neatly and nicely. I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to say that the most important job that I have is to teach. This course is full of interesting and challenging and exciting ways to learn vocabulary, reading, and writing. It's a safe environment for all of you. And I have to say that I love teaching. It'll be my honor and the most important job that I have. So I want to thank you. This wraps up my presentation.